So Carolyn, let's move on to you and hear a little bit about your work in education from Credit Suisse.
Sure. Let me stand up and try not to. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Richard, for giving us this opportunity to come and talk to you today. I think I want to start by determining what are our assets. So we are a bank, financial institutions. What is it that we have to offer? So the first thing is obviously the cash, and there's philanthropy, writing checks to NGOs to implement programs in the education sector. The second thing is our employees, with them the skills, the expertise, their networks to some extent, and it's a resource that we tap in by developing skill-based volunteering program. And then the third one is our clients, and with them the money and the networks. So to start with the clients, obviously as a financial institutions, trying to see how can we leverage our clients to have a social impact. One of the answers is the impact investment. So we launched recently an impact investment fund, and in the summer 2015 we launched a higher education note. And I'm not a banker or an expert, so I'll try to give you nonetheless an explanation. Basically, this is the note gives access to a variety of bonds that are listed in the Irish stock exchange, and the loans to the students are behind the bonds. So basically, we provide opportunity for students who normally would not have access to the traditional funding and loans and student loans, to have loans to go to higher education institutions. So we also work with a partner, Prodigy Finance, who has partnership with top education institutions in different countries and can tie up those students who come for 75% in the cases come from developing countries. So that's a nice way of utilizing what we are as a banking institution, leveraging our clients to have a social impact. There's other much simpler way of utilizing as well our resources of our clients. For example, we work with Kathy Freeman Foundation in Australia. And Kathy Freeman is ex-Olympic champion, a runner. So what we've done is we created platforms for our clients to come and meet with her. Obviously, they're interested in meeting, this figure. But what it did is that it gave her an opportunity to talk about the cause she's defending, which is the education for indigenous communities in Australia, but also potentially to expand a network and our donor base. So that's the client. Now I'm going to talk about the cash, and just to give you an idea how then we tie nicely the skill-based volunteering. So in terms of cash, at the global level, we have two initiatives, microfinance capacity building, and we have a global education initiative we launched in 2008. It's a program whereby we support selected international non-profit organizations to implement projects to provide opportunities for school-age children and young people. The intervention vary. We're looking at infrastructure, we're looking at training teacher, we're looking at funding for schooling. And we implemented mostly, so in all the regions where we have a presence, but mostly in emerging economies and developing countries. And then within this global education initiative, we launched in 2014 the financial literacy for girls. Makes sense again, we're a financial institution. Why not try to refocus as well as added this gender lens? So at the moment we're working with two partners, Plan International as well as Aflatun, and this is implemented only in 4 countries, so Brazil, Rwanda, and China and India for Asia region. And the idea is to provide 100,000 girls with financial education and skills to empower the next generation of women to do better for themselves and their communities. So these are the two global initiatives, and then each region has its own project. In the typical way, we have a selection process, we call for proposals, we receive, we select, and then we fund. We also have a collective impact, and we discussed this already in the previous session, and we may have an opportunity to talk about it a little bit more. But then we realized that with our partners, all these partners we have collected through these different initiatives, if we can improve improve their capacity and their performances, then we can really create value for the society by potentially improving or increasing the impact to be achieved. So we realize that most of the NGOs, although obviously they have very different objectives and non-for-profits, they have very similar problems or issues when it comes to organizational capacity. a lot of the skills that they need are skills that we have. There's an intellectual capital present in the corporation that can be tapped for the NGOs that very often have very stretched resources. So how do we do it? We started at a global level in 2010 with a Global Citizens Program. So it's an international skill-based volunteering program, and we select some of our employees and we deploy them on the ground directly with our partners under the two initiatives, and that's for 1 week to 3 months. So the idea is really they're going to work with the organizations, they're concentrating on the organization, they're not doing anything else, and they're helping to provide a solution. The assignments vary. It's up to the partner to come to us at the beginning of the year and saying, here are our needs in this office, in that country. And then we go through a selection process internally to have the best. And it's very competitive internally. That means that we are very conscious we need to have high-level deliverables. So we target VPs and above, people who have been in the bank for a certain number of years, and they have to have the A ratings for at least 2 years in a row. We want to make sure that what we bring you is skills. And so it was launched in 2010, and we've deployed already 210 employees to 41 countries. And this is in HR, this is in IT, this is in, we had things on risk protocol management, so all the skills that are available within the bank that are relevant for our partners. Obviously, this is a great model and very structured, but what we try to do is also at the regional level to have skill-based volunteering and to bring to our partners. So how do we do it? It starts very simply with board service. For example, this year we're going to have a training we're putting in place with an Australian provider in Hong Kong and in Singapore to train our staff on serving on the board of charities. They will look at management, accountability, finances, liabilities, responsibilities, and then we are going to organize a matching session, or at least an introduction with charities that we have been working with, who've expressed interest in having someone from Credit Suisse on their board, and we'll introduce to see if the magic happens and they can serve. And we already have 2 partners where we have senior staff sitting on their board. Another way is the transfer of skills. For example, we work with Gawat Kalinga in the Philippines. They have a program called Enchanted Farms, where besides the traditional education, they also train the students from rural areas on social entrepreneurship, with the idea that they're going to use the natural resources available in the Philippines, stay in a rural area instead of moving to the cities and then facing unemployment. We sent recently one of our MDs from the investment banking to give a talk to the students as well as the teachers on how to scale up social entrepreneurship, so transfer of knowledge. We have other initiatives. We have a skill base, and I will just give you 2 examples. Again, talking about the Cathy Freeman Foundation, that has been one of our most successful partnership, I think, where we had a staff from the Australia office on marketing who's been able to help them with all their press releases, all their communication, developing their messages. What are the messages you want out to the public, but also you want out to the donors? And we had an HR staff as well who's been working directly with the CEO on reviewing a lot of their legislation. He's the one who has suggested, annual plan for the staff review, has been helping on tightening as well the employment contracts and all these HR issues. So again, skills that were available that we gave to the charity and make it stronger. Another example, it was mentioned at an earlier session, we have an IT person from our Tokyo office who was deployed for 3 months with Cambodian Children's Fund, an organization in Cambodia that supports children who are scavengers picking rubbish and are taken and help to reintegrate the public schooling. And he went there and, again, I'm not an expert in IT, but developed basically all their IT system. But not only that, but once on the ground, he realized that one big piece of work that they were working on was the child protection unit. And they had problems because they were working with the police, but the police station, the closest who had the capacity, the database, and so on to help them was 8 hours travel from their office. So what we did is we donated a lot of computers that went to the school, but also went to police station in a vicinity with a training on how to use it. So now it's much easier for them to have this communication with the police on cases that are relevant for child protection. So these are two examples. I think if I have a bit of time, I'll give you one more example, because sometimes opportunities come, we don't even see it. It's our staff who comes up with great opportunities. We had recently a sort of internship with Cambodian Children's Fund. We had a team going to meet the charities, fell in love with the charity, came back saying, what else can we do? And they have some of the students who are doing, studying finances and audit. So we had the idea maybe we can get them in Credit Suisse to do an internship. So it's not that easy or that simple. So we started with a pilot project in 2015 where we had a team that was backed by our HR department developing a system of training on interviews and mock interview. They went on the ground, they taught the children how to conduct themselves in an interview. Then they did a mock interview, selected 2 students, and these 2 students came to Singapore office for a week exposure. What's a bank? How does it work? What are the different businesses? And these students were received by some of the most senior staff who took the time to really run through, this is what we do, the different type of jobs that you have, and etc. So it was a fantastic exposure for the students. It was a great motivation for other children on the ground thinking, you work hard, you get this sort of opportunities. And it really helped deepening as well our relationship with the charity. And I'll stay at that for a moment.
Thank you very much.